Admiral Krell stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet grow larger on the view screen. Behind him, 300 warships waited in formation. They had traveled across the galaxy for this moment. Earth would fall today. "The humans have no idea we're coming," said Commander Thrace, his scales shifting to a satisfied purple color. "Their primitive sensors cannot detect us until we want them to." Krell nodded slowly. For 50 cycles, the Zephrani Confederation had watched Earth. They had seen humans fight among themselves. They had watched these strange creatures build tiny ships and barely leave their own star system. The humans were children playing with fire. Soon they would learn what real power looked like. "Begin the attack," Krell ordered. The alien fleet moved forward. Energy weapons charged. Missile bays opened. In seconds, the first wave of destruction rained down on humanity's outer colonies. The lunar mining base never saw it coming. One moment, 300 workers were drilling for minerals. The next moment, they were gone. The entire base vanished in a flash of purple light. On Mars, research stations exploded. Scientists died before they could even send a warning. Earth's defense satellites tried to respond. They fired their small weapons at the massive alien fleet. It was like throwing stones at a mountain. The Zephrani warships destroyed every satellite within an hour. Earth was now blind and defenseless. In New York, the emergency sirens began to wail. In Beijing, people ran through the streets. In London, families held each other tight. In São Paulo, parents kissed their children goodbye. The news showed the same terrible images everywhere. Alien ships were coming. Humanity had only hours left. Deep beneath the Swiss Alps, the UN Emergency Defense Council met in a secret bunker. Generals and presidents from every nation gathered around a massive table. On the screens above them, they watched the alien fleet enter Earth's orbit. "Our defense fleet is moving to intercept," said General Martinez, her face grim. 20 ships against 300. "We'll buy maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes until what?" asked the Chinese premier. "Until we all die. Until we can evacuate someone." "Anyone," Martinez replied. "We have colony ships. We sent them to other stars years ago. Maybe they'll survive. Maybe they'll remember us." President Chen of Earth's United Government stood up. She looked tired. So tired. "Send the final transmissions. Tell our people in other star systems what happened here. Tell them to stay hidden. Tell them to survive." The room fell silent. Everyone knew these were humanity's last moments. Outside Earth's atmosphere, Captain Sarah Johnson piloted her defense ship toward the alien fleet. Behind her, 19 other ships followed. They were humanity's entire space navy. Small ships with brave crews. They had families back home. They had dreams and hopes. But today they would die buying time for Earth. "This is Captain Johnson to all ships," she said into her radio. "It's been an honor serving with you. Let's show these bastards that humans don't go quietly." The human ships opened fire. Their weapons were weak compared to the alien technology, but they fought anyway. 3 human ships exploded in the first minute. 5 more in the second. The aliens barely slowed down. Admiral Krell watched the pathetic human resistance with something like pity. "They are brave," he admitted. "Foolish, but brave. End this quickly. I want to be home before the next cycle." The last human defense ship exploded in a ball of fire. Earth had nothing left. The alien fleet moved into final attack position. Weapons charged for the killing blow. Cities would burn. Oceans would boil. In 1 hour, Earth would be a dead rock floating in space. Krell raised his hand to give the final order. Then he stopped. "Admiral," said the sensor officer, her voice shaking, "I'm detecting something." "Something?" "Be specific." "Energy signatures. Massive ones. They're coming from Earth's surface. From the oceans. From the mountains. From the ice caps. Sir, there are dozens of them. Maybe hundreds." Krell's blood went cold. "That's impossible. We've been watching Earth for 50 cycles. There's nothing down there except primitive cities and farms. Sir, the energy levels are increasing. Whatever they are, they're powering up." On the view screen, the blue planet seemed to shimmer. Then from the Pacific Ocean, something rose from the water. It was massive. A platform the size of a city covered in weapons. Then another rose from the Atlantic. And another from the Indian Ocean. From the mountains of Tibet, enormous doors opened in the rock face. From Antarctica's ice, massive structures emerged. "What are those?" Thrace whispered. "Battle stations," Krell shouted. "All ships, evasive maneuvers." But it was too late. The hidden installations opened fire. Beams of pure energy cut through space. Railguns fired projectiles at incredible speeds. Missiles by the thousands streaked upward from Earth. The first wave hit the Zafrani fleet like a hammer. 10 alien ships exploded instantly. 20 more took critical damage. The fleet scattered in panic. How? Krell demanded. Where did these weapons come from? His question was answered when Earth's moon opened up. The entire lunar surface split apart, revealing massive shipyards hidden inside. And from those shipyards came ships. Human ships. Not 20 this time. Not 100. 500 warships poured out from the moon's hidden interior. They were sleek and deadly, covered in weapons that shouldn't exist. From Mars, more ships appeared. From the asteroid belt, hidden stations revealed themselves. From Jupiter's moons, from Saturn's rings, human forces emerged from everywhere. It was a trap, Thrace said, his scales turning white with fear. They knew we were coming. They've been ready for us. All of it was a lie. The primitive technology, the small space navy, everything was a lie. Admiral Krell felt something he hadn't felt in 30 cycles of military service. He felt fear. On Earth, deep in the command bunker, President Chen allowed herself a small smile. Around her, the generals and world leaders watched the battle unfold on their screens. The alien fleet was in chaos. The ambushers had become the ambushed. Activate Athena, Chen ordered. Athena online, came a calm computer voice. All defense systems responding. Human fleet is engaging. Enemy forces in disarray. General Martinez stepped forward. 50 years, she said. 50 years since that first scout ship found us. 50 years we've prepared for this day. The aliens thought we were weak. They thought we were divided. They had no idea, Chen nodded. They saw what we wanted them to see. Fighting among ourselves. Barely leaving our planet. Primitive and harmless. But underneath we were building. Preparing. United by the one thing that could bring humanity together. Fear, said Martinez. No, Chen corrected. Hope. Hope that we could survive. Hope that we could protect ourselves. Hope that when they came for us we'd be ready. On the view screen, another alien ship exploded. Send a message to the alien commander, Chen ordered. Tell him this is just the beginning. Tell him that Earth remembers every attack, every destroyed colony, every life they took today. Tell him we're coming for them now. Admiral Krell received the message. He looked at the chaos around him. Half his fleet was gone. Human ships were everywhere, fighting with a ferocity that terrified him. These weren't the primitive creatures he had expected. These were warriors, predators, killers who had been pretending to be prey. He had made a terrible mistake. He had awakened something that should have stayed sleeping. And now, as his flagship shook from another impact, Admiral Krell realized the horrible truth. The ambush had failed, but something worse had succeeded. They had unleashed humanity upon the galaxy, and the galaxy would never be the same. The battle raged around Admiral Krell's flagship. Explosions lit up the darkness of space like terrible flowers. His fleet was dying. Ships that had seemed invincible hours ago were now burning wreckage. The humans were everywhere, attacking from angles that made no tactical sense, using weapons that shouldn't exist. Sir, we need to retreat, Commander Thrace shouted over the sound of alarms. We've lost 60 ships. The humans outnumber us now. Krell couldn't believe it. How had this happened? How had they been so wrong about Earth? A human warship streaked past the view screen, firing as it went. It was smaller than his flagship but moved with incredible speed. Its weapons tore through a Zafrani destroyer like paper. The human ship didn't even slow down. It just moved to its next target. Get me answers, Krell roared. Where did these ships come from? Where did these weapons come from? We've been watching Earth for 50 cycles. His intelligence officer, a thin creature named Vess, pulled up data on a screen. Sir, I'm reviewing our surveillance records. I think we've been fooled. Explain, now. Vess's hands shook as she worked. The energy signatures we detected were labeled as geological activity, volcanoes, ocean thermal vents, natural phenomena. But looking at them now with combat sensors, they're clearly artificial. They've been there the whole time. We just didn't look close enough. The moon, Thrace added, staring at the screens. The shipyards inside the moon. How did we not see them building those? Because they didn't build them recently, Vess replied. Based on the power readings and the technology, these installations are old. Decades old. Maybe 50 cycles old. 50 cycles. The number echoed in Krell's mind. 50 cycles ago, they had sent a scout ship to Earth. It had disappeared. They had assumed the primitive humans had gotten lucky and destroyed it. But what if the humans had captured it instead? What if they had studied it? Learned from it? They've been preparing since our first contact, Krell whispered. All this time they've been preparing for us to come back. Another explosion rocked the flagship. The lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the ship, people were screaming. On Earth, President Chen walked through the command center. Screens everywhere showed the battle. Human ships were pushing the alien fleet back. The weapons platforms were firing in perfect coordination. Everything was going according to plan. A plan 50 years in the making. She stopped at a memorial wall. Photos of people lined it, scientists, engineers, soldiers, world leaders, all dead now, all sacrificed in secret to prepare for this day. We did it, said Dr. James Park, appearing beside her. He was old now, his hair white, his face lined with wrinkles, but his eyes still held the fire of youth. The Project Mjolnir is working exactly as we designed it. Chen touched one photo. A young woman in a military uniform, Major Linda Hayes. She died in 2043 during the first test of the underground shipyards cave-in. We couldn't even tell her family the truth about how she died. Thousands died building this defense, Park said quietly. Accidents, mistakes, security measures. We asked people to die in secret for a threat most of the world didn't even believe existed. Do you regret it? Park shook his head. Watch the screens, Madam President. Watch our people survive. Watch our planet stay alive. No, I don't regret it. Not for a second. Chen turned back to the battle displays. Tell me the story again. The real story. The one the public doesn't know. Park smiled sadly. You know it already. Tell me anyway. I need to remember why we did this. Park took a deep breath. 50 years ago, an alien scout ship entered our solar system. It was small, sleek, advanced beyond anything we could imagine. It spent 3 days studying Earth, taking measurements, recording everything. Then it landed in the Nevada desert. We captured it, Chen said. Yes, a joint task force. Americans, Chinese, Russians, Europeans. We put aside every difference and worked together because we all understood what that ship meant. We weren't alone in the universe. And whoever built that ship might come back. And they did come back, eventually. But we had 50 years. 50 years to study their technology, to learn, to build. We couldn't match them, not exactly. But we could get close. Close enough. Park walked to a computer console and pulled up files. The hardest part wasn't the technology. It was the secret. How do you hide a global defense project from 7 billion people? How do you build shipyards inside the moon without anyone noticing? We told lies, Chen said. We pretended the world was still divided. We staged conflicts that weren't real. We made everyone believe we were weak and distracted. We did worse than that, Park admitted. We let people die in wars we could have prevented. We allowed suffering we could have stopped, all because we needed the aliens to believe we were primitive, violent, not a threat. Chen's face hardened. A terrible price, but necessary. If the aliens had known the truth, they would have come with everything. We needed them confident, arrogant. We needed them to underestimate us. An aide approached them. Madam President, General Martinez requests permission to activate the secondary platforms. The ones on the dark side of the moon. Yes, ma'am, Chen nodded. Granted. Let's show them we have even more surprises. In space, Admiral Krell was trying to organize a retreat when new energy signatures appeared, this time from behind the moon. More weapons platforms, more ships. The humans had reserves. Impossible, Thrace muttered. How many ships do they have? Analysis shows at least 700 combat vessels, Vess reported. And those are just the ones we can see. There could be more. 700 ships. The Zafrani Confederation had sent 300, believing it was overwhelming force. They had been so wrong. A communication signal came through. Human frequency. Krell almost didn't answer it. But he needed to understand. He needed to know how they had failed so badly. This is Admiral Krell of the Zafrani Confederation. A human face appeared on the screen. Female. Dark hair, hard eyes. This is President Chen of Earth. I'm giving you one chance, Admiral. Order your fleet to stand down and surrender. Your weapons will be disabled. Your crews will be taken as prisoners. You will be treated according to our laws. This is your only warning. Krell's pride wanted to refuse, but his training, his experience told him the truth. The battle was lost. The war was lost. Earth had won before the first shot was fired. What guarantees do we have? He asked. None, Chen replied. Except this. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first 5 minutes. We have weapons you haven't seen yet. We've been holding back. We wanted you to understand something, Admiral. We don't want to destroy you. We just want you to leave us alone. Krell looked around his bridge, at his crew, at Thrace and Vess and all the others who trusted him. He had led them into a trap. He had believed the intelligence reports that said humans were weak. He had gambled with their lives and lost. If we surrender, will my people be harmed? Not unless they resist. We're not monsters, Admiral. We're just survivors. Krell closed his eyes. 50 cycles of military service. 100 battles won. A reputation built on victory after victory, and now defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitives. All ship, and he said, into the fleet-wide channel. Cease fire. Power down weapons. Prepare for surrender protocols. Thrace grabbed his arm. Admiral, we can't. We're beaten, Krell said. Look around you, Commander. We're beaten, and if we keep fighting, they'll stop holding back. They'll stop being merciful. I won't sacrifice what's left of our fleet for pride. The Zephrani ships went dark one by one. Weapons powered down. Shields dropped. The human fleet surrounded them like wolves around wounded prey. On Earth, Chen watched the alien surrender. Around her, the command center erupted in cheers. People hugged. Some cried. Some just stood in shock. They had done it. Against impossible odds, humanity had won. But Chen didn't celebrate. She thought about the 50 years of lies, the thousands who died in secret, the wars they had allowed, the suffering they had permitted, all to maintain the illusion of weakness. Was it worth it? General Martinez asked beside her. Chen looked at the blue planet on the screen. Safe, alive, whole. Ask me in 50 years, she said. When we see what kind of galaxy we've created, when we see what we've unleashed upon the stars. Because now the secret was out. Earth was not weak. Earth was not primitive. Earth was dangerous. And every alien species in the galaxy would know it. They had won the battle. But what came next? That was the real question. That was what kept Chen awake at night. The galaxy had learned humanity existed. Now they would learn what humanity was truly capable of. For better or worse, everything had changed. The human boarding teams moved through the alien flagship like shadows. They wore black armor that seemed to absorb light. Their weapons were ready, but they moved with discipline. Professional, efficient, terrifying. Admiral Krell watched them secure his bridge. His crew was on their knees, hands behind their heads. The humans had taken control of his ship in under 10 minutes. They moved like they had done this 1,000 times before. Which one of you is the commander? Asked a human soldier. Her voice came through a helmet speaker, emotionless and cold. I am Admiral Krell. The soldier gestured. Stand up slowly. Krell rose to his feet. He was taller than the humans, but somehow they still seemed larger. More dangerous. It was in their eyes. The way they moved. Like predators who knew they were the deadliest things in the room. You will come with us, the soldier said. Your crew will remain here under guard. Cooperate and no one gets hurt. Where are you taking me? To meet someone who wants to talk to you. They led him through his own ship. Everywhere, human soldiers stood guard over his crew. The Zephrani looked defeated, broken. They had been so confident hours ago. Now they were prisoners on their own vessels. The humans took him to a shuttle, small and fast. They flew down to Earth, and Krell got his first real look at the planet that had destroyed his fleet. From space, it looked peaceful. Blue and white and green, beautiful. But he knew better now. That peaceful planet was a fortress, a trap. A predator pretending to be prey. They landed at a military base in North America. More soldiers waited. They took him into a building, down corridors, into a room with a simple table and chairs. One wall was a window. Krell could see Earth's sky. Blue and clear, so different from his homeworld's purple atmosphere. The door opened. A human woman entered. She wore a simple suit. No weapons, no armor, just a woman with tired eyes and gray hair. Admiral Krell, she said. I'm President Chen. Please sit down. Krell sat. He was a prisoner, but they were treating him with strange courtesy. Are you going to execute me? Execute you? No, why would we do that? Because we tried to destroy your planet. Chen sat across from him. You're not the first to try. You probably won't be the last. But we don't execute prisoners of war, Admiral. We're not barbarians, Krell laughed. It was a bitter sound. Not barbarians? You destroyed my fleet. You tricked us. You hid weapons that could level cities. We defended ourselves, Chen interrupted. You came to our home. You destroyed our colonies. You killed our people. What did you expect us to do? Roll over and die? Krell had no answer for that. Chen pulled out a datapad and slid it across the table. Do you know what this is? Krell looked at the screen. It showed surveillance images of Earth, cities, farms, schools, families. You've been watching us study you. Yes. For 50 years we knew you were out there. We knew you were watching, and we watched you back. Do you want to know what we learned about the Zephrani Confederation? What? You've never really fought a war? Not a real one? Oh, you've had conflicts, border disputes, police actions. But you've never faced an enemy that truly wanted to destroy you. An enemy that would do anything to survive. Chen stood and walked to the window. Humanity is different, Admiral. We've been killing each other since we lived in caves. We've fought wars over land, over resources, over ideas, over gods that might not even exist. We've built weapons that could destroy our own planet. We've come so close to extinction so many times that paranoia is written into our DNA. You're monsters, Krell whispered. No, Chen said. We're survivors. There's a difference. Do you know what our greatest advantage is? It's not our technology. It's not our weapons. It's our ability to imagine the worst possible scenario and prepare for it. She turned back to him. 50 years ago when we found your scout ship, do you know what we did? We didn't celebrate. We didn't rejoice about finding alien life. We asked one question, what if they come back as enemies? What if they want to destroy us? And then we spent 50 years preparing for that possibility. Krell thought about his own people, about the Confederation. They had been so sure of their superiority, so confident in their power. They had never imagined they could lose to a younger species. Your tactics, Krell said. In the battle. They were disturbing. Disturbing how? You used suicide attacks, false surrenders. You weaponized debris. You showed no honor. Chen's expression hardened. Honor? You came to exterminate us and you talk about honor? Admiral, when you're fighting for survival, there is no honor. There's only winning or dying. We would never fight that way. I know. That's why you lost. The words hung in the air between them. Simple. True. Terrible. What happens now? Krell asked. Now you help us understand your confederation, your military structure, your command systems, your supply lines, everything. I won't betray my people, Chen smiled. It wasn't a cruel smile. It was sad. Admiral, your people already betrayed you. They sent you here with bad intelligence. They told you we were weak. They sent 300 ships and called it overwhelming force. But they were wrong. About everything, she leaned forward. Do you want to know how many ships we actually have? Not 700, not 1,000. We have 3,000 combat vessels, and that's just what we've built in the last 10 years. We have facilities on Earth, the Moon, Mars, the asteroid belt, and moons of Jupiter and Saturn. We've been building for 50 years. We could have sent every ship against you. We could have destroyed your fleet in minutes. But we didn't. Why not? Because we wanted to send a message. Not to you, to everyone else watching, to every species that might think about attacking Earth. We wanted them to know that we can win, but more importantly, we wanted them to know that we show mercy to those who surrender. Fear will keep many away, but mercy might make some into allies. Krell understood. The humans were more sophisticated than he had imagined. They weren't just warriors. They were strategists, thinking several moves ahead, planning not just for this battle but for decades into the future. Your own people don't even know, do they? Krell asked. The civilians. They don't know about all of this. Some do. Most don't. We'll tell them eventually. But right now, we need to secure the galaxy first. Make sure there are no more threats. Make sure Earth is safe, so you'll keep lying to them. We'll keep protecting them, Chen corrected. That's what leaders do. We make the hard choices. We bear the burden of knowledge. We do what must be done so others can live in peace. A soldier entered the room. Madam President, General Martinez reports all alien vessels are secured. Casualties minimal. The fleet is ready for Phase 2. Phase 2? Krell asked. Chen stood. We're not staying on defense, Admiral. Your fleet attacked us. That means your government, your confederation declared war on Earth. And in war, you don't just defend. You counterattack. Krell's blood went cold. You're going to attack the Confederation? We're going to make sure you never attack us again. Your supply depots, your shipyards, your command centers. We're going to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity. You'll start a galactic war. No, Chen said calmly. You already did that when you destroyed our lunar colony. When you killed 300 miners who had families. When you decided Earth was yours to take. You started this war, Admiral. We're just going to finish it. She walked to the door, then paused. You'll be treated well here. Good food, comfortable quarters, medical care if needed. We're not cruel. But you'll remain a prisoner until this war is over. However long that takes, and my crew will be treated the same. We're not your enemy, Admiral. Fear is your enemy. Arrogance is your enemy. Ignorance is your enemy. We're just the consequence of your mistakes. After she left, Krell sat alone in the room. Through the window, he could see Earth's sky. So peaceful. So beautiful. So deceptive. He thought about his homeworld. About the Confederation. About what was coming for them. The humans were right. The Zephrani had never really fought a war. Not against an enemy like this. Not against a species that had been preparing for 50 years. Not against a people who saw every interaction as potential combat. Who planned for the worst. Who survived by being more paranoid, more prepared, more ruthless than anyone else. The humans called it survival. Maybe they were right. Maybe when you faced extinction, you became whatever you needed to be to live. Even monsters. Even devils. Even something the galaxy had never seen before. Krell put his head in his hands. He had thought he was leading his fleet to an easy victory. A simple extermination of a primitive species. Instead, he had awakened something terrible. Something that would now spread across the galaxy like a storm. And there was nothing he could do to stop it. The humans were coming. Not just to defend anymore, to attack. To show the galaxy what they were capable of. And the galaxy was not ready. Not ready at all. The Zephrani Military Command Center was in chaos. Screens showed human fleets attacking supply depots across 3 star systems. Ships that weren't supposed to exist. Weapons that shouldn't be possible. The humans were everywhere. High Commander Vorn watched the reports flood in. His face, normally a calm blue, had turned pale white with shock. How many human ships are we facing? We've identified over 2,000, Commander, his aide reported. But there could be more. They seem to have vessels stationed throughout the galaxy. Positions we never detected, that's impossible. We would have seen them. Apparently not, sir. Vorn turned to his intelligence director. You said Earth was primitive. You said they barely had space travel. That was our assessment based on all available data, the director stammered. They appeared to have limited technology. Small military. Constant internal conflicts. It was a lie, Vorn roared. All of it was a lie. They've been playing us for fools for 50 cycles. A new report came in. The supply depot at Kepler Station had fallen. 50 Zephrani ships destroyed. The humans had swept through the system like a storm. They hadn't even slowed down. Sir, we're receiving a transmission. Human frequency. They're broadcasting to the entire Confederation. Vorn's hands clenched. Show me. The screen changed. A human woman appeared. She wore a military uniform covered in symbols. Her eyes were hard and cold. Behind her stood rows of human soldiers, perfectly still, perfectly disciplined. It was a show of force, a message. I am General Sarah Martinez of Earth's United Defense Force, she said. This message is for the Zephrani Confederation and all species who may be watching. 10 days ago, your fleet attacked Earth. You destroyed our colonies. You killed our people. You came to our home with the intent to exterminate us. Martinez paused. Let the words sink in. You failed. Your fleet was destroyed. Your soldiers are now our prisoners. And now we're coming for you. Not for revenge. Not for conquest. But to make sure you understand something important. Earth is not prey. Earth is not weak. And Earth will never be a victim again. The image changed. Showed human ships destroying Zephrani military installations. Showed supply convoys being captured. Showed the might of Earth's hidden fleet. We have traced your supply lines, Martinez continued. We have identified your shipyards, your command centers, your resource stations, and we are systematically dismantling your ability to wage war. Not just against us, against anyone. We are ensuring that the Zephrani Confederation will never again threaten a peaceful species. Vorn felt sick. This was a disaster beyond anything he could have imagined. We offer you the same choice you offered Earth, Martinez said. Surrender or die. Lay down your weapons. Accept our terms, and we will show mercy. Continue to fight. and we will demonstrate why humanity has survived every attempt to destroy us throughout our history. You have 24 hours to respond." The transmission ended. Vorn looked around the command center. His staff looked terrified, defeated. They had thought the Confederation was invincible, the strongest military power in this sector. Now they knew the truth. They were not the strongest. "Not even close. Get me the council," Vorn ordered. "All 7 species. We need to discuss terms." On the human carrier Vanguard, General Martinez watched the tactical displays. Her fleet was performing perfectly. Strike teams hit targets across 12 systems simultaneously. The Zephrani were completely overwhelmed. "General, we're receiving communication requests from 4 of the Confederation species," her communications officer reported. "They want to negotiate separate peace deals." Martinez smiled. "The Confederation is fracturing, just as we predicted." Her second-in-command, Colonel James Park, nodded. "Fear and self-interest. Works every time. They're abandoning the Zephrani to save themselves. Open channels with them, but make it clear, peace means complete transparency. Full disclosure of their military capabilities, access to their space for our monitoring stations, and most importantly, they spread the word to other species. Don't mess with Earth. Some people back home are concerned," Park said carefully. "They say we're being too aggressive, that we should have stopped at defending Earth." Martinez turned to him. Her expression was hard. "Colonel, do you know why we're doing this? Why we're not just sitting back on Earth celebrating our victory? To prevent future attacks, partly. But more than that. We're changing the rules. For 1,000,000 years, this galaxy has operated on a simple principle. The strong prey on the weak. Advanced species destroy primitive ones. It's expected. It's normal. Well, we're making it not normal anymore. We're making it dangerous." She pulled up a star map. "Look at this. 37 species in this sector alone. How many of them are like the Zephrani? How many would attack a weaker species just because they could? How many would have done to Earth what the Zephrani tried to do? Most of them, probably. Exactly. So we're sending a message to all of them. It doesn't matter how primitive a species looks. It doesn't matter how weak they seem. If they're smart enough, if they're desperate enough, if they're human enough, they can fight back, and they can win. We're making predator species think twice. We're making the galaxy a little bit safer for everyone." Park smiled. "You make it sound noble. It is noble, but it's also practical. Earth can't defend against everyone. We're just one planet with one star system. But if we make the whole galaxy afraid to attack anyone, we're safer. Everyone's safer. Fear can be a shield, Colonel. Fear of consequences, fear of retaliation, fear of the unknown. The Zephrani certainly fear us now." "Good, let them tell others. Let the story spread. Let every species know what happened when someone attacked Earth. In 50 years, we'll be the boogeyman story. The species you don't mess with. The humans who look weak but have teeth," a tactical officer called out. "General, the Zephrani are responding. High Commander Vorn wants to negotiate." "Already? We gave them 24 hours. They're scared, ma'am. Really scared." Martinez walked to the communication station. "Put him through." High Commander Vorn appeared on the screen. He looked older than his file images. Tired, defeated. "General Martinez, I am authorized to discuss terms of surrender." "Complete surrender? Not just a ceasefire?" "Yes, complete surrender. The Council has agreed. We cannot win this war. We cannot even fight it effectively. Your forces are too widespread, too advanced, too prepared." Martinez nodded. "Here are our terms. All Zephrani military forces will stand down immediately. All warships will be inspected and reduced to defensive capabilities only. You will pay reparations to Earth for the colonies you destroyed. You will provide complete intelligence on all military operations for the past 50 years, and you will help us establish a new galactic order." "A new order? One where attacking primitive species has consequences. Where might doesn't automatically make right. Where smaller civilizations can grow without fear of extermination." Vorn's face showed confusion. "You want to protect other species? But you're not even allies with them." "We don't need to be allies. We just need them to exist. Because every species that survives without being destroyed is proof that the old way doesn't work anymore. Every primitive civilization that makes it to space travel is a reminder that humanity changed the rules. This is about your legacy. This is about survival," Martinez corrected. "Ours and everyone else's. The galaxy you built where the strong destroy the weak, that galaxy eventually would have destroyed Earth too. Maybe not this year. Maybe not this century, but eventually. So we're building a different galaxy, one where strength is measured not by who you can destroy, but by who you can defend. Vorn was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice soft. You realize what you're doing? You're making enemies of every predator species out there, every civilization that has benefited from the old ways. Let them come, Martinez said. Let them try what you tried. Let them learn what you learned. Earth is ready. We've been ready for 50 years, and we'll be ready for the next 50, and the 50 after that, because that's what we do. We prepare for the worst. We survive, we adapt, and we make sure that anyone who threatens us regrets it. The humans are terrifying, Vorn whispered. No, Martinez replied. We're just human. This is what we've always been. You just never saw it until now. You saw what we wanted you to see, divided, weak, harmless, but underneath we were always this, always waiting, always ready, always willing to do whatever it takes to survive. She leaned forward. So here's what's going to happen, High Commander. You're going to accept our terms. You're going to become our example. And when other species ask what happened to the mighty Zafrani Confederation, you're going to tell them the truth. You attacked Earth, and Earth attacked back. And you lost. Simple as that. Vorn nodded slowly. He had no choice. No options, no hope. I accept your terms. Good, stand by for our teams to arrive. They'll begin the process of ensuring compliance. And High Commander? Tell your people this doesn't have to be the end. It can be a new beginning, a partnership based on mutual respect instead of fear. We don't want to rule you. We just want to be left alone. Help us build that galaxy and maybe we can all benefit. After the transmission ended, Colonel Park whistled low. We did it. We actually did it. 1 war, 3 weeks, total victory. Martinez looked at the star map again, at the vast galaxy spreading out before them. This war is over. But the real work is just beginning. We've shown we can fight. Now we need to show we can lead. Build alliances. Create peace. Make sure this never happens again. Think it'll work? I don't know, Martinez admitted. But we have to try. Because the alternative is spending the rest of human history looking over our shoulder, waiting for the next attack. I'd rather build a galaxy where we can finally relax, where our children can explore the stars without fear, where Earth is just one planet among many living in peace. From predators to peacekeepers. From survivors to protectors, Martinez corrected. We survived extinction. Now we're going to make sure others get that same chance, even if we have to fight for it. 5 years had passed since the war. Admiral Krell stood in his quarters on the Zafrani homeworld, looking out at the city below. It had changed. Everything had changed. Human ships patrolled the skies. Human monitoring stations orbited the planet. Human technology flowed through their networks. The Confederation had become something else. Something new, but not something bad. That was what surprised Krell the most. A knock on his door. Come in, he called. President Chen entered. She looked older now, with more gray in her hair. But her eyes were still sharp. Still intelligent. Still seeing everything, Admiral, she greeted. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Not at all, Madam President. I heard you were visiting our world. I'm honored you came to see me. It seemed appropriate. You were there at the beginning. You should see how things have turned out. Chen sat in a chair by the window. I've been meeting with your council. They're happy with the new trade agreements. Your economy is stronger than it was before the war. Yes, Krell admitted. The humans have been generous. We've been fair, Chen corrected. You surrendered. You accepted our terms. You've honored them. So we've honored ours. Peace, partnership, mutual benefit. Krell turned to face her. I've been writing a book. About the war. About what happened. What I learned. Oh, what are you calling it? What they unleashed. Krell smiled sadly. Because that's what we did, isn't it? We thought we were attacking a primitive species. Instead, we unleashed humanity on the galaxy. And how does your book end? With a question. Was it better for the galaxy that we attacked Earth? Or would it have been better if we had left them alone? If humans had remained hidden, building their strength in secret forever? Chen thought about that. What do you think? I think the galaxy needed humanity, not the humans we thought existed. The real humans. The ones who prepare, who survive, who protect. Before humans revealed themselves, the galaxy was stagnant. The strong preyed on the weak. Progress meant conquest. Now, Now things are different. He gestured to the city. Look at my world. We have human schools now. Teaching Zafrani children about Earth's history, about human philosophy, about the concept of defending the weak, about the idea that strength should be used for protection, not domination. And you approve? My grandson goes to one of those schools, Krell said. He came home last week excited about something he learned. The human concept of paying it forward. Help someone today and they'll help someone tomorrow and that person will help someone else. A chain of kindness instead of a chain of conquest. He thinks it's the most wonderful idea he's ever heard. Krell's eyes were damp. That's what you've really done to us. Not conquered us, changed us, made us better, made the whole galaxy better. Chen stood and walked to the window beside him. That was always the goal. Not revenge, not domination, just change. We humans, we've spent 10,000 years killing each other. We know what endless war looks like. We've lived it. We didn't want to bring that to the galaxy. So instead you brought peace. We brought the threat of consequences, Chen corrected. We showed that attacking the weak could be dangerous. That predators could become prey. That the galaxy needed new rules. She turned to him. Admiral, do you know what happened 2 years ago? The Krovan Empire decided to exterminate the Pell species. Said they were inferior. Said their world had resources the Krovan needed. So they sent a fleet. A big fleet. I remember hearing about that. But the Pell survived. Because we stopped it. A human task force intercepted the Krovan fleet. We didn't destroy them. We just forced them to withdraw. Then we sat down with both sides and negotiated. The Pell got to keep their world. The Krovan got the resources they needed from uninhabited systems we helped them find. Everyone won. The old galaxy would have just let the Pell die. Exactly. But the new galaxy, the one we're building, doesn't work that way anymore. We're not the only ones doing this either. 6 other species have formed a defensive alliance. The Protection Pact, they call it. They patrol their sectors, help weaker species mediate conflicts. They're copying what we started. Krell nodded slowly. The galaxy is learning. Learning to be better. Learning that there's another way, Chen agreed. That's all we wanted. We spent 50 years preparing for war because we knew it was coming, but we also spent 50 years dreaming of peace. When we finally revealed ourselves, we could have been conquerors, gods of war. Instead, we chose to be something else, protectors, survivors, Chen said, who learned that the best way to survive is to help others survive too. Every species that makes it, every civilization that grows, every world that doesn't get destroyed, that's a galaxy that Earth can live in safely. That's a galaxy where our children can explore without fear. A message came through Chen's communication device. She checked it and smiled. Speaking of children, the first mixed school has opened on Earth. Human children and alien children learning together. 6 different species in one classroom. How is it going? Chaos, apparently. Different biologies mean different needs. Some students breathe oxygen, some chlorine, some methane. They had to build 3 separate environmental sections, but they're making it work. The kids are already friends. They don't care about species differences. They just want to play together, Krell laughed. Maybe that's the real secret. Not military might, not technology, just children playing together, learning that others aren't so different. Maybe, Chen agreed. We'll see. This new galaxy we're building, it's an experiment. It might work. It might fail. But at least we're trying. At least we're giving peace a chance. She prepared to leave. At the door she paused. Your book. When it's finished, I'd like to read it. I'm not sure humans will appreciate it. I'm honest about how frightening you are. Good. Let people be frightened. Let them know what happens when they threaten others. Fear can be useful, as long as it's balanced with hope. And what gives you hope, Madam President? Chen smiled. You do, Admiral. You and everyone else who chose peace over endless war, who chose cooperation over conquest, who looked at what humanity offered and decided it was better than what came before. That gives me hope. That makes me think maybe, just maybe, we did the right thing. After she left, Krell returned to his window. The city below was alive with activity. Humans and Zafrani working together, building together, living together. 5 years ago, he would have thought it impossible. Now it seemed natural. His communication device chimed. A message from the publisher. They wanted to release his book next month. They thought it would be important. A first-hand account of how the galaxy changed, how humanity emerged from hiding, how everything that came after was different from everything that came before. Krell thought about the title. What they unleashed. It was true. The Zephrani had unleashed humanity, but humanity had unleashed something else. Hope. Change. The possibility of something better. He began writing the final chapter. The conclusion. The answer to his question. Was it better that they attacked Earth? Yes, he wrote. Yes, it was better. Because humanity didn't just defend themselves. They defended everyone. They broke the old rules and built new ones. They showed the galaxy that strength without mercy was just cruelty, that power without responsibility was just destruction, that survival didn't mean stepping on others. It meant lifting them up. The Zephrani had thought they were exterminating a pest. Instead, they had awakened a guardian, and the galaxy was better for it. Years later, Krell's book became required reading at every military academy in known space. Officers from hundreds of species studied it, learned from it. The final passage became famous across the galaxy. We came to Earth expecting an easy victory. We found an impossible defeat. But in losing, we won something greater. We won a teacher. Humanity taught us that the strong must protect the weak, that fear of consequences is better than freedom to dominate, that every species deserves a chance to reach the stars. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders. But the greatest wonder is this: we are better together than apart. We are stronger when we build instead of destroy. We are safer when we protect instead of prey. The humans understood this from the beginning. They had learned it through 10,000 years of their own mistakes. And when we gave them no choice, when we forced them to reveal themselves, they shared that knowledge with all of us. We unleashed humanity on the galaxy, and humanity unleashed peace. May we never forget the cost of that peace. May we never forget what almost was. May we never forget that our children play together now because we finally learned that there is another way, and that way is better. It is so much better. On Earth, an old woman read those words and smiled. President Chen was retired now, enjoying her garden, watching her grandchildren play with alien friends. The new galaxy was still young, still learning, still growing. But it was better than the old one, better than the galaxy of conquest and fear. She had done what needed to be done, lied, prepared, fought, won, and then, hardest of all, chosen mercy over revenge, chosen peace over domination, chosen hope over fear. The galaxy would never forget what happened when someone attacked Earth. They would tell the story for thousands of years, how the predators became prey, how the hunters became the hunted, how the mighty fell and the weak rose up. But more importantly, they would remember what came after, how humanity could have crushed their enemies but chose to lift them up instead, how the species that prepared for 50 years for war spent the next 50 years building peace. Chen looked up at the stars. So many worlds out there, so many species, so many possibilities. The galaxy was vast and full of mystery, but it was also full of hope. And that hope had a name: humanity. Not because humans were perfect. They weren't. Not because humans were peaceful. They could be terrifyingly violent when necessary, but because humans understood something fundamental about survival. You survive not by destroying everyone else. You survive by making sure everyone has a chance to survive. That was what they had unleashed. Not weapons, not war, not fear. Those had always existed. No. What humanity unleashed was something the galaxy had forgotten, something it needed desperately. The belief that tomorrow could be better than today. That the strong could protect the weak. That predators could become guardians. That the galaxy could change. Could grow. Could become something wonderful. 5 years. 50 years. 500 years. The future was uncertain, but it was possible, and possibility was enough. Chen closed her eyes and enjoyed the sunshine. Somewhere in orbit, human ships kept watch, not conquering, not dominating, just protecting, making sure that what happened to Earth didn't happen to anyone else, making sure that every species got their chance to reach the stars. The ambush had failed. The war had ended, and something better had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what Earth had intended.